CHEO Foundation files a police report, this after suspicions of a former employee may have misdirected funds. The allegations now under investigation. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. We begin tonight with concerning allegations involving a former employee of the CHEO Foundation. The foundation has launched an internal review and notified police after a former employee allegedly misdirected money from third-party fundraising events. CHEO Foundation President Steve Reed says the discovery has been, quote, gutting. He says they found out about the situation about a week and a half ago from speaking with one particular event organizer.
We are supported is through many community third-party events. These are the car washes, the garage sales, many different ways that people support us. And we found that money that was intended to come to us as a result of proceeds from these events didn't make it to us. It was entrusted to a former employee and it didn't make it to us.
They don't yet know how much money was misdirected and how long this had maybe allegedly been going on. The foundation says when it made the discovery, it took several steps, including hiring a forensic investigator, calling police, submitting an insurance claim, and retaining legal counsel. The former employee's role was to engage with community partners. They have not been with the foundation since earlier this year. That was not as a result of this incident. The foundation is also working to determine if anyone else was involved. We have some breaking news to share with you now. After more than 4 months of reduced service on OC Transpo's O-Train Line 1, full capacity service is set to return in just under 2 weeks. In a memo to council from new OC Transpo boss Rick Leary, a return to full service date has been set for June 8th. This means double-car trains will operate on weekdays with frequency every 5 minutes during peak periods. Single-car service will continue on weekends. Service has been reduced since mid-January, with some LRT cars taken off the line after a mechanical issue was discovered and needed to be fixed. The ByWard Market is one of the city's most iconic destinations, but lately, many say getting there doesn't always feel welcoming. The city is now looking at reallocating funding for upgrades to make the area safer, brighter, and easier to get to for residents and tourists alike. CTV's Kimberly Fowler is here with more. Kimberly.
Well, Stefan, in January of last year, the province agreed to give the city $10 million to revitalize the ByWard Market and turn William Street into a pedestrian plaza. Today, city staff proposed that funding be redirected from beautification towards safety and security. Now, the improvements will focus on pedestrian walkways, safety and accessibility, and lighting to key access points to Rideau Station, the Rideau Street corridor, and the Rideau Sussex underpass. Now, crime is an issue in this area. In April, there was a stabbing, leaving a man critically hurt. And now the city wants to focus on accessibility and public safety as it moves to improve the area.
We're excited about our plans for the ByWard Market, and improving those access points and improving the intersection at Rideau and Sussex is a priority. We're in the process of figuring out the funding model for all of that. I expect going to get help from other levels of government and other forms of revenues as well.
Now, businesses in the ByWard Market welcome the move, and the area councillor Stephanie Plante says reallocating the provincial funding is just the start, as the area also needs to invest in things like housing, mental health supports, and hospitals. Now, while there is no timeline of when the money will be approved, but the city says there is a sense of urgency because the $10 million from the province must be spent by the end of March 2027. Steph.
CTV's Kimberly Fowler reporting live for us. Thank you, Kimberly. Ottawa's medical officer of health is issuing a warning about the closure of 2 supervised consumption sites in less than 3 weeks, saying it will likely lead to more visible public drug use, social disorder, and the increased likelihood of overdose. CTV's Leah LaRocque is here to tell us more about the concerns that could arise when the Ontario government ends funding on June 13th. Leah.
Well, Stefan, Dr. Trevor Arneson is painting a vivid outlook of what could happen in our city when those supervised sites close. And we spoke to some people at one of those sites today here in Ottawa who say they worry for their lives as well as for others. In a memo sent out late yesterday, Dr. Arneson says there will be an increased likelihood of overdoses, and outcomes such as brain injury and death could occur. And there will be visible drug use, social disorder, public safety concerns, and increased discarded drug paraphernalia. And those are concerns that Ottawa's mayor shares as well.
My message to the province would be we need more help and support. We need as much funding as possible to support people who are going through a drug crisis. Not everyone is going to seek treatment at a heart hub immediately. There are going to be people who are still going to be in the community using drugs, and we need as much, we need as many resources as possible to support those individuals.
The province will now only fund recovery sites known as heart hubs, saying they will give support to break the cycle of addiction. Now, according to Dr. Arneson, about 1,700 people access the consumption sites each year in Ottawa. Now, in a statement from the Ministry of Health, they said instead of giving people tools to use harmful illegal drugs, they are helping people break the tragic cycle of drug addiction by making record-breaking investments in more mental health and wraparound supports. Now, again, Stefan, the sites close on June 13th.
All right, thank you for this update, Leah. Gatineau police say 4 men are facing charges following an investigation into sexual assaults in that city. Gatineau police say the investigation involves sexual offenses against minors at a residence on Chemin de la Savane. Police say the suspects allegedly met people between 12 and 18 years old at malls and through social media apps like Snapchat. The victims were then taken back to a residence where they were given drugs. Police say there are several victims from both Ottawa and Gatineau and worry there could be more given how the suspects operated.
They were contacted through media, so they were writing down and then giving rendezvous in a shopping center, for example, and then they were bringing to a home in the Chemin Savane in Gatineau.
All 4 men between the ages of 28 to 31 are charged with sexual contact, sexual assault, and administering drugs. Police are asking anyone with additional information or believes they may have been a victim to contact Gatineau police. In the meantime, here in Ottawa, police have charged a man in connection with an alleged sexual assault, and investigators believe there could be other victims. Police say the incident happened 2 months ago on March 28th under the Mackenzie King Bridge between 11 p.m. and midnight. Officers arrested a 50-year-old suspect on Monday. Anyone who was driving along Colonel By Drive during that time and has dash cam footage or anyone who may have witnessed anything suspicious in the area is being asked to contact Ottawa Police. It was meant to be a massive retirement residence with hundreds of units, but after nearly 3 years with no progress, a project in the city's West End is now drawing the frustration of nearby residents, asking why has work ground to a halt. CTV's Austin Lee has more on the stalled project at the corner of Baseline Road and Clyde Avenue.
Well, Stefan, people in the area that I spoke with today, they were calling this structure a bit of an eyesore, adding that it's quite disappointing to see the current state of affairs, especially given the constraint and the pressure people are facing when it comes to the housing market here in Ottawa. Now, it was originally planned to be a retirement residence. The hope now is to one day finish the project, turning it into apartments. Work has been at a standstill, however, for nearly 3 years after the original contractor filed for bankruptcy. Smart Centers, the owner of the nearby Laurentians Plaza strip mall, they are now the owners of the unfinished project.
But they have to go through a site plan renewal with the city, and that takes time. So in our most recent correspondence, they indicated that process should be done this year. And then we're all praying that construction will restart. We'll get these buildings done and people will be able to live at this very prominent and busy street corner.
Brockington adds this is not the only project in the city to face financial constraints, but it is one that he hears a lot of complaints about from his constituents. He also says the building is under 24-hour surveillance and it does undergo regular checkups to ensure the concrete is still safe and there's no risk of structural failure. Stefan.
Thank you for that, Austin. And we should mention CTV News Ottawa did reach out to the company Smart Centers for a comment more than once today and did not hear back in time for this broadcast. In other news, residents in Old Ottawa East are raising concerns over a new 6-story residential building potentially replacing a current 4-story complex along Echo Drive across from the Rideau Canal. The proposed building design is for a 52-unit residential building with a 3-story underground parking garage. Now, many longtime residents of the current apartment building are worried about the possibility of eviction and losing affordable rent-controlled units. Meanwhile, neighbors argue Echo Drive cannot support a development this large and the increased traffic it could bring. The project remains in the early stages and would need to be approved by City Council.
It's not about how long we've got. It's about sustainability, it's about affordable housing, it's about respecting just the way this neighborhood is.
It's outrageous. Yeah, the footprint is way too big. There's nothing of that magnitude in this neighborhood.
We really need to make sure that there's options in place for existing tenants, as well as that there's consultation with the community around what this building looks like, how it functions.
CTV News reached out to the landlord and developer JB Holdings and have not yet received a response. Coming up on CTV News at 5, does the City of Ottawa need to do more when it comes to protecting tenants? We'll dive into that discussion with CFRA's Christy Cameron. And it's time now for a first check on the forecast. At 5:10 this afternoon, we are seeing some sunny skies, and we are sitting at the temperature. We are looking at the weather right now from the Capital Barbecue patio. Very beautiful in the ByWard Market. Right now, we are seeing current conditions at 22 degrees, increasing clouds this afternoon, a chance of overnight showers. Let's take a live check on traffic right now. Things are moving well in both directions at Parkdale. You'll start to see some slowdowns in the westbound lanes at Churchill and Woodruff. Slow going at Pinecrest, especially in the westbound lanes, that usual corridor where there is construction. You're watching CTV News at 5, and we'll be right back. Our popular Team of the Week segment is back. If you want to be a part of our Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week, upload your video to ctvnewsottawa.ca. An Ottawa councillor is calling on city staff to present a draft rent-eviction bylaw to committee next month, but staff say the city does not need its own bylaw since a provincial framework is already in place and meets all of the objectives. Today's radio question of the day is asking, does Ottawa need a rent-eviction bylaw?
Regulations against rent evictions is they're trying to make small business owners into social service providers. There's a subtext that's going on that landlords are sort of really greedy, really rich. I mean, when I was a landlord, I was barely surviving. You got insurance, you got all types of maintenance you have to do.
Christy Cameron is here with more on this. Christy.
This is a very heated debate, Steph. And, you know, this has come up before because back in the winter, in January, city staff actually came back with a report where they looked at this, the feasibility of introducing a rent eviction bylaw. And the conclusion of this 19-page report was that it's too expensive and that essentially we don't need it because the Ontario government already has these protections and they're working on it. Councillor Ariel Troster was on my show yesterday. She wants to resurrect this debate because she feels like it didn't get enough time, that it should come back, that her council colleagues and her should really duke it out. So she's going against what the city staff have recommended. She believes that we need to do more like other cities. In Hamilton, in Toronto, they have bylaws like this, where essentially if you're a landlord, you have to obtain a renovation license from the city before you evict tenants for major repairs under the N13 process. Landlords say it's overreach and it's unnecessary. Tenants say they're feeling exploited and underprotected. It's a pretty heated debate.
Yeah, and it sounds like the problem has not died down since the pandemic, when people really felt as though they're being pushed out so people could benefit from the boom of the real estate market.
Yeah, and we had a lot of people that were writing into our show today who claim that they're going through this right now. I can say personally, I know about 4 or 5 people that have been rent evicted, wow. But it's a really intense debate because it involves a lot of red tape, bureaucracy. We'll see if it actually lands at Ottawa City Hall again. Again, it's kind of interesting because we thought this debate was over.
Right.
She wants to bring it back.
Well, you'll be keeping an eye on that for us. Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
You can join the conversation and leave a comment through the Talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live to Christy Cameron on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 2 to 6. Now watch Christy's segments anytime on YouTube. Subscribe to the News Talk 580 CFRA channel.
The full cast audio editions. Listen on Audible.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, a rare bright sight in the sky in our province. Will tell you what this was and where it was spotted. Here's what else you need to know. The popular Glengarry Renaissance Festival is happening this weekend at the Maxville Fairgrounds in Maxville, Ontario. That's about 50 minutes east of downtown Ottawa. The outdoor festival celebrates medieval and Renaissance life with a variety of events and entertainment. Here's another live check on traffic. Churchill pretty much turning into a parking lot at this time in the westbound lanes. As you can see, it's slow going at Woodruff, starting to ease around Pinecrest. St. Laurent is flowing well in both directions, as is Riverside. But if you are headed to Orleans, you'll notice some volume building on the 174 between the Split and Montreal Road. We'll be right back. Coming up tonight on CTV after the 6 o'clock broadcast, E-Talk starts at 7, The Big Bang Theory at 7:30, MasterChef at 8, The Floor at 9, and then back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory start again at 10. Now for another look at the weather forecast, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, 22 degrees. Let's take a look at our satellite radar picture showing our current conditions. Right now we are sitting at 22 degrees in Ottawa, as we've mentioned, slightly warmer in Brockville and Cornwall at 23, but it's also 22 in Bancroft and Trenton. Kingston seeing a current condition of 18 degrees and fair amount of cloud coverage in Kingston at the time. Pembroke is sitting at 21, so 21 in the valley, and Petawawa as well. Maniwaki 19 degrees. Mont Tremblant seeing a current temperature of 21 degrees as well. Our satellite radar picture showing some cloud coverage. Increasing cloudiness is what we were expecting this afternoon, and we are starting to see that. That could bring some rainfall, a 30% chance of showers overnight. Tonight we will see a low of 12 degrees here in Ottawa. Some winds coming in from the north, gusting around 10 kilometers per hour. There's a chance that the lingering showers will be there when you wake up tomorrow, but we will be seeing mostly cloudy skies with a daytime high of 21. As we take a look in the valley, very similar conditions overnight, a low of 10 degrees, a chance of rain. Some winds coming in from the northwest, gusting around 15 kilometers per hour. We're expecting overcast sky in the valley tomorrow and a high of 20 degrees. As we take a look along the Seaway, mostly cloudy overnight and mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 22. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast now. Once we get through Thursday with a chance of rain, we're pretty much guaranteed rain on Friday. You're seeing a 60% chance of showers, a high of 20 degrees, and hopefully that will clear out by Saturday morning so that we can get some afternoon sunshine to help you with the weekend. 19 degrees for the daytime high, but the rain, we could be seeing at least a little bit of rain every single day for the next few days. Sunday, a chance of rain, 40% there, 20 degrees, and very similar conditions on Monday.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree. Complete tree care from start to stump.
The pattern on your dermoscopy is very reassuring, so nothing to worry about at all. Thank you.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, dozens of people line up on Parliament Hill to be screened for the most common type of cancer in Canada. Here's what else you need to know. Check out the Kids Next Gen Market in Spring Fling this Saturday at Canterbury Community Centre. Support young entrepreneurs showcasing their items and enjoy food trucks, games, and more at the Spring Fling family event. The market runs from 9 in the morning until noon, and Spring Fling goes until 1.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, 22 degrees. And it's time for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
And we found that money that was intended to come to us as a result of proceeds from these events didn't make it to us. It was entrusted to a former employee, and it didn't make it to us.
The CHEO Foundation has launched an internal review and involved police after a former employee allegedly misdirected money raised through third-party fundraising events.
I figure we must be around 150,000 person hours.
If you have a desire to see a painstakingly refurbished streetcar that is part of Ottawa's history, you can head over to the vehicle's new home at the Railway Museum of Eastern Ontario in Smiths Falls. And we will introduce you to our Myers Team of the Week, a group that is part of the Ottawa Power Wheelchair Hockey League. The organization provides athletes with disabilities the opportunity to play competitive and recreational hockey in an inclusive environment. We look forward to that, and all of that and more is coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today.
The pattern on your dermoscopy is very reassuring, so nothing to worry about at all. Thank you.
Dozens of people lined up for a free skin cancer screening on Parliament Hill today, hosted by the Canadian Dermatology Association. Certified dermatologists were on site to check people's skin for signs of cancer. The initiative also highlights the importance of access to care and early detection. Ottawa drivers, you'll want to wait one more day to fill up the gas tank, if you can, of course, as prices are set to drop to their lowest level in a month. Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTagg expects gas prices will drop 10 cents a litre on Thursday here in Ottawa and across Ontario to an average price of 173.9 cents a litre. He says it will be the lowest gas prices have been since April 24th. CAA is warning drivers about an increase in distraction thefts. Schemes often involve criminals approaching drivers who have parked in public spaces like parking lots or shopping centers and use electronic devices to capture their key fob signals. The scheme requires the key fob to be within range of the car it's connected to. CAA is reminding people to park in well-lit and busy areas, be wary of anyone who approaches, and to store key fobs in pouches that block signals.
Looking to center, passing it across Jarvis, back to Svechnikov, scores! Evgeny Svechnikov has won it in overtime.
The Habs are heading into a pivotal Game 4 in Montreal tonight in their series against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canadians are trailing 2-1 in the series after losing in OT to the Hurricanes on Monday. The Habs hoping to secure a win tonight to tie up the series before heading back to Carolina for Game 5. Tonight's puck drop is at 8 p.m.
The full cast audio editions. Listen on Audible.
A rare and spectacular sighting in the Greater Toronto area early this morning where what appeared to be a meteor lit up the sky. The sighting captured on dash cam was from the Whitchurch-Stouffville area north of Toronto. Meteors are streaks of light that appear when a space rock or meteorite enters the Earth's atmosphere and burns up at high speed. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of CTV National News starts right now. Thanks for watching.